We will now get started. To kick us off, Rick, I'm gonna ask you an opening question here. It's been a pretty big season for Hendrick Motorsports. When we started in February, did you have any idea that your team would take home 16 NASCAR Cup Series wins this season?
No, you always think you're in good shape, but this has been a phenomenal year. I think when I look back at our organization and look at across the board running 4 cars, it's been all the cars have been competitive. All of them have won races, and it's really nice when you have a balanced attack and you don't have one car running 20th, but all of the cars have been able to lead laps and run up front and win races. So I've been extremely happy and very humbled by the success of the organization this year.
And one additional question before we jump to the questions from our media. A big year as well for Chevrolet, home the Manufacturers Championship. What does that mean to you to be able to help them take home that honor this season?
I guess outside of us winning the championship, being able to bring it home for Chevrolet is super important to me and our organization and all the Chevy teams, because they take a lot of pride in NASCAR racing and racing in general. They've won a lot of races. They've used to winning a lot of manufacturers cups. And so at the beginning of the year, that's always a big goal for us. And they are a major player in our success. So it was super exciting and rewarding to see them get excited about winning the Manufacturers Championship again.
All right, we're now going to go to questions. We'll take as many questions as we can in the time that we have. To kick us off, we're going to go to Bob Pockris. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Rick, Clif Daniels told me that he wasn't sure whether he'd get a chance to work with another driver after not winning with Jimmy Johnson. So I'm curious if there were ever any thoughts in your head of like, well, maybe he just isn't good. He'd just be better off in a different position other than a crew chief.
I think your question is Clif Daniels looking at him in any other position other than a crew chief? Is that what you said? That was it?
Yeah.
Was that your question?
Yeah, well, in light of the fact that he wasn't able to win, he didn't win a race with Jimmy.
Right.
Was there concern that he just wasn't a winning crew chief?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. Look, he's a super sharp guy. If you look at the way they ran toward the end of the year, we were just getting our program better and starting to click. And of course, Chase won the championship, but Jimmy had some good races there at the end. So that was good momentum. And you could just watch him as he ran the team and made the team better, that he was going to be in a good spot this year. Did I think he could win this many races? Nobody ever expects to win that many races in a year, but he's a super sharp guy. He's been in and around our program for a long time, worked with Chad as an engineer on the team. So I've been amazed at how much talent he has in a leadership role.
All right, next question. We're going to go to Jenna Fryer. Go ahead, Jenna.
Thank you. Hey, Mr. H, I've got a couple questions. I'm going to limit it to 2 and then get back into the queue. My first question is on Chase. He opened the season as the champion, should have been celebrated all year, but instead you signed this new guy who comes in and wins all these races and sort of takes over the spot as top dog. Have you seen that affect Chase at all, or has it been any sort of issue that you've had to address?
None. Chase is very competitive. He wants to win, but he's happy for the organization, and he's never said anything about the fact that he won the championship, and now Kyle's winning a bunch of races. It all comes down to next Sunday, and he's in it to win it, and he's got a chance and a good shot at being a back-to-back champion. So he's a team player, and Chase is super cool. he just, I've been amazed at his maturity and how he looks like just a pure veteran of 10 or 12 years. And he actually, every time Kyle wins or one of the other cars win, he texts me and congratulates me. So he's not one of those guys that goes off in the corner and says, well, I need what they have or whatever.
He's so quiet, and he delivered these two real good lines in this postseason. Merry off season, happy Christmas, and then the thing last week about his fans. Did you know he's got that in him, that wit and that humor?
He's super. I mean, he's quick. He's really quick, and he's just a super bright guy. And I'm amazed at how he can come back with. You might ask him a question, or you may say, "Man, you had a good race. I'm sorry that you didn't win it." And he's always, "Hey, we did well. We did it to ourselves, or whatever." He's very, 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 very sharp. You can't rattle him. I've never seen him get rattled over anything. So I think he's poised for another championship here come Sunday.
And then my last one, and I'll get back in the queue. I'm really excited for your answer on this one. Alex Bowman, is he a hack?
I describe a hack. I don't know what a hack is, but he's won 4 races this year. Denny's won 2. And I think Denny just lost it Sunday. And, Alex races everybody clean. He's a good soldier. The sponsors love him. The crowd loves him. I think when you're in the middle of a disappointment and you're frustrated and mad, you might say things that you wouldn't say normally. So, but if he's a hack, I'd like to have more of them.
Thank you.
All right, our next question is going to go to Jeff Gluck. Go ahead, Jeff.
Rick, you've been around so many of the greats, and obviously, I mean, we can see, Larson's unbelievable, but I'm curious as to your opinion to what makes him so great? Why is he that good?
I think he's driven a little bit of everything, and I think car control and racing on the dirt has helped him a lot. But he's got tremendous confidence. He believes that he can drive anything, and he believes he can win in anything. So, that confidence builds a lot of, he just gets in the car ready to go, and he doesn't complain. But he also spends more time than people might know studying setups and studying the history of the races and digging into the information in our company just to see if he can get better or he can make the car better, wanting to help Clif. But I think confidence, car control is just something that, he's just got a ton of.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Zach Albert. Go ahead, Zach.
Thanks, Amanda. Mr. H, I wanted to follow back onto Clif Daniels real quick. It seems like whenever you hear him on the radio, he's a very calming influence. And that seems to trickle down not only to Larson, but also the rest of the team. How have you seen that kind of, I guess it's almost maturity beyond his years in some ways. And was that part of why you thought he was destined for this kind of season?
Yeah, well, he worked under Chad, and he has that same temperament of wanting everything perfect. But he does not get rattled. You're exactly right. And you don't know how a guy's going to act under fire till you put him in that position. And but he just is very methodical, and he spends a lot of time with Kyle. And when I told Kyle that was going to be his crew chief, Kyle didn't know. He hadn't won any races. But as soon as they started working together, Kyle loved what he could see in Clif. And I I've been amazed at his ability to call a race, keep calm, build a pit crew, do all the things that he's done this year, and doesn't get rattled. And in some of the decisions he makes is just, you would think he's been crew chief for 5 or 6 years, but he's a real talent, and he's built a really good team. And I can tell you the 4 crew chiefs here are working better than they've ever worked before. When I went to shop yesterday, that Rudy and Clif were standing there talking, and Alan, and they were discussing things about the cars. And we don't have 4 teams anymore. We have 1 team with 4 cars, and they all work. People work on the same cars, and the crew chiefs live together. And Rudy's made a big impact on our company, and so it's been the best chemistry by far that we've ever had.
How much of that is a credit to Chad Knaus and his leadership in terms of this first year in his current role after being a crew chief for so long?
Well, you know, Chad is a perfectionist, and yes, he gets a lot of the credit for the preparation, because things have to go on here when the guys are on the road and not in the shop. And Chad is very detail minded, and he has learned too that he's got to spread his knowledge. He can't just focus on 1 car. He's got to be focusing on 4 cars. So that's been a step for him, but he's just accepted it. And I've just watched him mature, not mature, that's not the right word, but I've watched him work into being a leader of many people rather than a leader of a few, and wanting to do a lot of things himself. And he brings a certain amount of attention and to the game, and he's very methodical and very driven. And so you spread that through the shop, and you got him back at home getting the cars ready and feedback from the 4 crew chiefs. It's a great combination right now, and I think we've got a lot of good years ahead of us.
Great, thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Kelly Crandall. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thank you, Amanda. Rick, at the top there, you talked about how you're humbled by the success of the team this season. And when I talked to Jeff, or asked Jeff yesterday about, obviously you guys won the championship last year with Chase, but does this year feel more like an indication that the organization is back to where it needs to be with performance, given the overall success of all 4 teams?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, when you had Jeff Gordon and Terry Labonte, and you won 4 championships in a row, and you won a ton of races, and then you kind of go through a rebuilding year. You don't have, Jeff or Jimmy or Dale, and you've got, Alex Bowman and William Byron and Chase Elliott. And then we didn't know how, you think, you watch Larson, you say, hey, he's really got a tremendous amount of talent. Can he be a team player? Can he come in an organization and have an impact and really, help the other guys? And the answer to all those is yes. I've been amazed at William Byron, his year. And if you look at where he was, if he'd gotten in the Roval, he looked like he was going to win that race. He could have been a player in the championship. So Alex won 4 races. Chase is going for the back-to-back championship. So when you have everybody working together, when you have the crew chiefs not trying to hide things, but legitimately wanting to help each other and make all the cars better, and communication between the drivers, or you don't have a driver that's upset with the other driver or jealous, or just building a wall between them. Again, it's the best we've ever had when you look at 4 crew chiefs and 4 drivers. Yeah, we had Jimmy Johnson that won 7 and won 5 in a row, but the rest of the organization was running at that par. So this has been a phenomenal year for us.
And on the topic of Kyle, when you signed him about a year ago now, you mentioned he had championship ability, which he's proven this year with wins and qualifying for the title race on Sunday. And you also talked about how you had to get comfortable, obviously, with his heart and who he was as a person. So now, having gone through this year, Kyle away from the racetrack, has he lived up to everything you would have hoped in terms of what he's done to better himself?
Much more than I would anticipate him doing. He pledged $50,000 so far to causes. He's visited a week or so ago 3 food banks in Raleigh, Charlotte, and Charleston, and gave away a ton of money. He's been the front of our whole program for feeding people. He goes into markets and STEM situations with kids, going to speak to kids. And he's doing so much on his own. I mean, not just with us, but he's got other charities that he's been supporting. I don't know any driver out there as busy as that guy is that spends as much time trying to do good for other people. So if you just look at his track record and what he's accomplished this year, going visiting food banks and schools and giving money away and just trying to be a model citizen. And I'm just really proud of him because I didn't ask him to do any of that. You know, he did that on his own.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Jim Utter. Go ahead, Jim.
Hey, Rick, hope you're doing well.
Hey, Jim.
A couple questions. First, kind of on Kyle. Strictly talking about Kyle's performance in the NASCAR Cup Series this season, are we seeing, in your opinion, the kind of expectations or promise that people thought Kyle was always possible with Kyle when he first came into NASCAR, or is it something more to it than that?
Well, you know, I think the word was before this year that Kyle was fast, but he couldn't close. He couldn't run a 500-mile race and be there at the end. And he's proven everybody wrong in that area. You know, you know when a guy's fast, he's capable. But then I've witnessed him being so good at managing his tires and giving up a little bit in one part of the race to be better at the end, and give up a little bit early in the run to be good at the end of the run. And that takes a lot of patience. And when you couple patience and understanding what the tire can do and the car can do, and then you put that talent with it, that's what, you know, you see the results this year. So I've been amazed at how he can control the race. And when I say control it for himself, can feel the race along with Clif telling him what's going on. He doesn't mind getting coached either. You can hear Clif tell him that somebody's driving a car length deeper or they're backing off a car length before he is. And he takes it and soaks it in. And it's been amazing. You know, I can see why he's won so many races, not just in our car, but everything he gets in, because he's competitive, smart, he knows how to race. I mean, that, you know, a lot of people might be fast, but they don't know how to race, and he knows how to race.
And my second question, when you were talking with Kelly about how far the organization has come in general and how it's working better than it ever has as a unit, I wondered how important do you think that will be as we move into the next gen car and all the changes that come with that?
Yeah, I think the momentum that the team has, and I think the way they work together can only be more beneficial in the new car. I mean, you're still going to have a lot to work with. I mean, although you know most of the parts and pieces that you're handed to you, but still you've got tire data, setups. There's a lot that you have to make work. And if you've got 4 guys that are working together and 4 crew chiefs that are working together, you're going to get there a lot faster. So I've seen it with everything that we've done, whether it's pit crews. We looked at our pit crews toward the end of the year, and the 5 team had one of the best pit crews on pit road. And there are a lot of new guys and a lot of guys that were off of pit crews in our organization. So I think just the chemistry, we'll take that into the new year with the new car. And I think if we execute exactly like we're doing now, we should have really good results. I don't know that we'll win as many races, but we'll be super competitive.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Okay, our next question will come from Claire B. Lane.
Thank you. Rick, I was sitting here, I was thinking about the playoff drivers that are advancing on, and they're all solid and they're all very calm. Truex, Elliott, Larson, somewhat Denny Hamlin, a veteran. What do you think the difference will be for the finale at Phoenix? Is it the maturity, the team that doesn't panic, who gets stressed out, luck, or who's more aggressive after what we saw last week? What do you think, Rick?
Well, I think a lot of racing luck's going to play into it. I mean, do you get trapped with a caution? Do you pit? Do you have a flat tire? Do you have, mechanical, problem? Those 4 cars are going to be awful close. Who hits the setup right? Doesn't mean, it doesn't matter what you did last week or even when you went there in the spring. I think it's just you got to have a flawless race without any mistakes. And, that's the unknown when you go into a championship like this. You got 4 cars. They're all great cars. They've been there all year. They all know how to win. They have won. And, 2 of them won championships. So, it's just, I think it's just going to be mistake free. Whoever can get through it without making mistakes will probably win it. And it could be any one of those 4. And I hope it's one of our 2.
And as we move to the finale, right? What do you think of all the talk that we had last week? And I know it was a cutoff race and I know it was Martinsville, but now we move on about how much respect you show or don't show, how much respect these drivers owe each other that are in the playoffs. You have 2 of your drivers who are in it together and their teammates, or those who are not in the playoffs. What about the whole respect thing and the whole entertainment that it shows thing and what you want of the crowning of a champion, where respect fits in or doesn't?
Well, I think when you look at it and you see guys that haven't won a race this year, and they want to win a race for their sponsor and their organization, you don't expect them to move over. You would hope they don't, deliberately race somebody too hard. But everybody that goes in that race has got a reason for wanting to do well. I mean, some of them are looking for a job. Some of them are pressure from sponsors and from their teams, and everybody wants to do well. I do think Martinsville's a tough racetrack to ask people to not race hard. I mean, there's always feelings after Martinsville. There always has been, and there always will be when you race that close together. But I think Phoenix will be a little bit different. And I think everybody deserves to be able to go out and race. I think that the guys in the championship just ask for respect from the other guys. Just don't take if you're running, 8th or 10th and it's, early in the race, don't do anything to try to jeopardize somebody's chance of winning a championship. But that's true every week. I mean, I think our guys in this, well, not just our organization, but this sport right now, most of those guys, if not most all of them, race pretty clean. And you see them go 4 wide at places where I don't think you can run 3 wide, and they come out okay. And if somebody loses it and gets into somebody, that's just racing. I mean, that's going to happen. I just hope it doesn't happen Sunday.
Thank you, Rick, and good luck. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Holly Kane. Go ahead, Holly.
Thank you so much. Mr. Hendrick, I wanted to ask you just one question. Often, not so often, does the championship come down to just two teams. This is really kind of a mano-a-mano type of situation. How is the emotional side of this for you guys? Is the vibe in the shop a lot different this week? What's it like?
Well, it's the guys that are working, that go to the track with the 5 car, they want to win. The guys that are with the 9 car, they want to win, but they're all in there together. And they do have feelings that they want their car to win the race, but they're looking for the organization to do well. But I don't think there's tension between our cars. There's just tension and nerves that they know it all comes down to just one race. And we worked so hard all year, won a lot of races, but it's just going to come down to who can win this race or finish in front of the other guys. So I think that the pressure is, there's no tension among our guys. Now, whether that'll change it in the race, if they're racing each other hard, I fully expect the guys to race hard, race clean. And I've been in a situation before with Terry Labonte and Jeff Gordon, and I've been in the meetings with the teams and say, look, guys, I'm going to tell you if the 9 car wins, I'm going to go tell the 5 guys, congratulations, a great year, and then I'll go celebrate. I worry about showing any favoritism to any one of them. I won't be on the 9 box or the 5 box. I'll be somewhere neutral. And I do think a lot about whatever happens Sunday. I don't want to hurt the momentum we've got now. So however it works out, we've got to come back and race in 22, and we want to have the same success that we had this year. And the reason we have is because everybody's working together. And so for me, it's like just don't ruin it for everybody. And so our guys are really, I'm amazed. When I've been in this situation before, you had people working in a corner. I'm not letting anybody see what I'm working on. Our guys are going, looking at scans together. I'm just really proud of them because it's a great feeling to know that you've got an organization that's got 2 guys in it, and they're going to put their best car out there and let them settle it.
Thank you.
All right. I know we're not going to get to everyone's questions. Thank you for everyone hanging with us. We're going to squeeze in one more question before Rick has to move on to some other interviews. So Dan Gelston, go ahead with your final question.
Dan, you're muted.
Rick, you again, signed with Liberty recently. Did any of the accusations or bad press involved with the university of late give you any reason for pause with going through with the relationship?
No, they're great people up there. They'll get it worked out. And, that's a situation that's unfortunate, but they'll get it resolved and move on.
Do you talk to anyone there about what's going on and if, it might be a lingering issue that could affect the way you do business as well?
No, I mean, I've spoken to several of them, but they're really good people, and things that happened years ago, or whenever it did happen, they'll make it right and move on. And things like that. I mean, when you have it's not pleasant, but they're dealing with it. They're being very upfront and being very transparent.
Have you heard any fan blowback or pushback over the deal, you personally, or Hendrick as an organization?
No.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Rick, thank you again for spending so much time with us today. We know that you are very busy, and we appreciate you giving us a full 30 minutes, and we wish you the best of luck this weekend in Phoenix.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and to all the media who are still here with us, please hang tight, and we will let you know as soon as Joe Gibbs has arrived. Thank you.